Your brain cannot tell the difference between something real and something on a screen. In the next few minutes, you're going to find out exactly what happens inside your skull the moment you open porn. And it happens faster than you can even process what you're looking at. No shame here, no lecture, just chemistry. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. Your brain releases more dopamine anticipating what you might see next than it does from actually watching it. The wanting is stronger than the getting. That single fact explains almost everything that follows. Start with the trigger. The moment you open the app, before a single image loads, your brain is already firing. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical people think it is. It's the anticipation chemical. It's the chase. Your reward circuit lights up in a region called the ventral striatum. This is the same structure that lights up in an alcoholic the second they see a photo of a drink. Same wiring, different trigger. Why does this matter? Because your brain isn't responding to what's on the screen. It's responding to the possibility of what's coming next. Now add the second ingredient, novelty. A new video, a new thumbnail, a new scroll. Each one is a fresh signal to your brain that something worth paying attention to has arrived. And your brain never fully adjusts to novelty the way it adjusts to almost everything else in life. You get bored of the same meal, you get bored of the same show. But an endless stream of new options keeps the reward system firing again and again. Buffets exploit this. Infinite scroll exploits this. Porn exploits this. Better than almost anything else humans have built. There's a name for part of this. Scientists call it the Coolidge effect. In animal studies, a male loses interest in a mate. Then a new one appears, and arousal returns instantly, driven by a fresh spike of dopamine. Online pornography recreates that effect on demand, unlimited, at the tap of a screen. Your brain was never built for unlimited novelty. It was built for scarcity. So, what happens next? Chemically, dopamine keeps rising through arousal. Oxytocin joins in, the bonding chemical, released even though there's no real person on the other end of this. Your body is producing the chemistry of connection with no connection actually happening. Then comes the peak, and right after it, the crash. Following climax, a hormone called prolactin rises sharply, while dopamine and oxytocin drop just as fast. This is your body's built-in reset switch. It's the same mechanism that makes you feel full after eating, or satisfied after finishing something you wanted badly. For a short window, the system goes quiet. But here's the twist that makes this different from a meal or a movie. You can restart the novelty loop instantly. New tab, new video, new spike. The reset never fully completes because the next trigger is always one tap away. Do this enough times and the wiring starts to change. Researchers using brain imaging have found that frequent escalating use is linked to weaker activity in the reward circuit over time, not because dopamine runs out. Your brain doesn't drain like a battery. What actually happens is your reward system gets trained to expect more, faster, and more novel input than ordinary life can ever deliver. Neuroscientist Valerie Voon studied this directly and found that brains of habitual users showed patterns strikingly similar to the brains of people with substance addictions, especially in that same reward region, the ventral striatum. A separate study by researcher Gola and colleagues scanned men seeking treatment for compulsive use and found heightened activation in that exact region, specifically in response to sexual cues, not general excitement. Some of the sharpest changes show up in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for impulse control, decision-making, and knowing when enough is enough. Studies have linked frequent use to reduced gray matter and weaker connectivity right here, in the exact region meant to be the brake pedal. So is this exactly like drug addiction? Here's where honesty matters. Not every study agrees. One comparison of compulsive users to a control group found no measurable drop in dopamine receptors and no reduced blood flow to the frontal lobes. The kind of change typically seen in substance addiction. The habituation is real, the craving loop is real, but the underlying molecular pathway may not be identical to a drug. Science is still working this out, and anyone who tells you it's fully settled is skipping past the actual research. What is settled is simpler than the debate around it. Your brain treats anticipation as more powerful than the reward itself. It treats novelty as something to chase endlessly, and it treats an infinite supply of new stimulation as something it was never designed to handle. This isn't unique to porn either. It's the same circuitry behind why you check your phone one more time before bed. The same circuitry behind why a notification feels impossible to ignore. Different trigger. Identical wiring. Which brings you back to where this started. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's on a screen. But you do. And that difference, the one your prefrontal cortex is built to notice, the one built entirely out of gray matter and effort, might be the most human thing about you.